It is just after 9:30. Welcome back to Breakfast Television. Well, overnight camping is now allowed in city parks in Vancouver from dusk until 7 a.m. The Vancouver Park Board passed a motion late last night after 2 consecutive nights of special park board meetings. The bylaw changes come with some restrictions. Shelter can't be within 25 meters of playgrounds and schools. No campfires, lighted candles, or stoves. Shelters can't be left unattended. The need for a new bylaw comes after a BC Supreme Court ruling recognizing the charter right of people to seek shelter in public spaces. Staff heard from over 90 people from the public over the last 2 nights. The motion passed by a vote of 4-3, with some opposing board members citing park safety as a main concern.
Well, I think we have limited space in Vancouver, and especially in this particular time, people are using our parks a lot. And I've been calling for the last number of years for actually more safety in our parks, more needle pickup. Families want to be safe and people need to get outside. And I think this is a step backward.
A Mission spray park has closed after a number of children experienced skin irritation and were treated by first responders. Local fire crews say a call came in just before noon about children with burning eyes and mouths after being in the water at the Mission Leisure Center on Grand Street yesterday. At least 5 children were treated. 1 was sent to hospital but appears to be doing okay. 1 adult was also affected. The fire chief on duty says the water was treated and seemed to be coming back as normal.
When we left, it had sort of been thought that it was leaning more towards possibly somebody using bear spray in the spray park, maybe before it opened or the night before, whatever.
It's not clear yet what exactly caused the irritation. Mission RCMP has opened an investigation. A 30-year-old man has been identified as the victim of Vancouver's latest homicide. Investigators say the body of Amin Shaheen Shakur was found around 11 o'clock last night in the city's Punjabi market area. Officers were responding to a call of shots fired behind several small shops on Main Street near East 48th Avenue. One man who lives in the area says he heard what sounded like 4 muted bangs before police arrived on scene. Vancouver police say the victim does not have an extensive police history and there is no risk to the public.
Right now, we are asking the public to come forward. So any information that they have, or if anybody was on scene or witnessed the incident, or their camera was in the area and they have dash cam footage, to please call us. Looking for video is something our investigators will be doing, but anybody in that neighborhood, please proactively reach out to police so we can solve this.
Now, this is Vancouver's 8th homicide of the year. Those 4 homicides happened this month alone. 13 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the province. There are no new deaths. The recovery rate is steady at around 87%. Most of yesterday's positive cases were in the Fraser Health region. Dr. Bonnie Henry says they're still focused on a number of COVID-19 community events, like the private parties in Kelowna and a number of flights into Vancouver.
So what we have been able to do, I had no idea what July was going to be like. It was either going to be really, really bad still, or we did what we needed to do, and we are where we are. So we were able to flatten the curve, but what that has mean is that we've been grumbling along, and 10, 15, 20 in the last little while. And as we start doing more and having more contacts, that's our reality now. So that is going to be our reality, in my opinion, for the next months until we have an effective treatment or a vaccine.
Now, 3 of the new cases are in care homes. 14 people are in hospital. 5 of those people are in intensive care. A big relief for hundreds of thousands of foreign students enrolled in programs in the U.S. The Trump administration has rescinded an order that would have forced them to transfer schools or leave the country if their classes were moved entirely online due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The decision was announced earlier today, just as a court hearing was getting underway on a challenge to the rule by Harvard University and MIT. University leaders had earlier suggested the new rule was part of Donald Trump's efforts to pressure schools and colleges to reopen this fall, even as COVID-19 numbers there continue to rise. Campus security at the University of Victoria will be undergoing some new training before the fall semester begins. The university's student body is calling it a step in the right direction. Ashley Burr explains.
Post-secondary schools are places for young people to grow, learn, and change. And now one BC university is doing some changing of its own. The University of Victoria is now requiring all campus security staff participate in applied suicide intervention skills training and Indigenous cultural acumen training, or ICAT.
Discussions specifically stemming from the Black Lives Matter movement, the heightened attention spent on our policing bodies, and the very real violence that these bodies are inflicting on members of our community. And so from those discussions, we were thinking of ways that we can address these issues in the UVic setting.
The university's student society advocated for the training, and all campus security staff will be required to take part before the fall term begins in September. Even though most classes will be online, the UVic Director of Student Affairs says there will still be some students in and around the school using campus resources, and the training will equip security staff and students to have better communication.
What's really great is they do receive a lot of training. It's just that we can always have more, and specifically ICAT training and suicide prevention training is some of the most important training that these officers should have.
UVic isn't the only one making the change. In a statement to City News, Kurt Heinrich with the University of British Columbia says we are in the process of working to engage an external agency to provide our officers with additional training as one of many commitments made in recent weeks by the university to better address issues of anti-Black, anti-Asian, and anti-Indigenous racism and bias.
This isn't about first responders or campus security or law enforcement being bad. It's about systems and institutions providing training, skills, and tools for them to do the job as it changes.
Clinical counselor Dr. Natasha Ghosh says implementing this kind of training is beneficial not only for students, but for staff as well.
Because now you can go in with some sort of confidence, or at least a little less uncertainty of what you're going to be facing in that situation, how you might respond to that situation. And that can only be good for all the people involved.
Even being afraid to call is an issue, and opening lines of communication between that office and students will be really important to increasing safety for students.
The university's campus security website will also be updated to include information about what students can expect when they call, what measures security can take, and what accountability measures are in place. Ashley Burr, City News.
All right, let's get to the weather forecast now, and lots of people are loving the sunshine this week, Russ.
Yeah, a slightly later arrival of summer to what we're accustomed to around here, but sunshine front and center in your forecast today.